Hi, welcome to the Mystery to Mastery website and welcome to 2012. Today I'm going to do a video on lead pipes. Now there is a lot of talk about the playing of the lead pipe alone, as you will have seen, I hope, in lesson 4, why it's so important. But I'm really excited now to actually have lead pipes, separate lead pipes that you can practice on. You can take them in your car, you can walk down the street with them if you wish, you can take them anywhere and you can practice, and it's a lot lighter, of course, than a trumpet. Now, the reasons that you would use a lead pipe. As you've seen from all of the other videos, if you've been playing for some time, or even if you're just a beginner, we need to set good playing habits of efficiency and understanding how the sound is created to enable us to develop all of the skills that we need to develop on the instrument. Now, what we want to train is the brain, the subconscious part of the brain, in fact. So the motor skills of the trumpet are taken care of automatically. We don't have to think about the physical requirements of playing. So we can keep the conscious part of the mind focusing on, well, you know, what tune are we playing? Turn the page. Musically, if you're improvising, you're thinking of musical thoughts, so you can play the musical thoughts that you're having. You can look at the girls dancing in the front of the band, all of that sort of stuff. But you want the trumpet machine to be operating on its own, and to reprogram and to really focus the training into the subconscious part of the brain. Let's put the instrument aside. There's a phenomenon called strangeness. Now, strangeness is about, when developing a new habit, is to not have any sort of recollection of previous habits, and picking up the instrument can stimulate those old habits. So getting away from that, we may train ourselves to approach the lead pipe in a different way, especially when it comes to maybe fixing some habits or creating new habits. If we've got tension in the lips, or if we've got problems with our sound, or if we've got problems developing our upper register, we want to approach learning techniques to overcome those problems in a new way. And picking up the trumpet can often stimulate the old habits and therefore get in the way of developing new habits. Now, there is a lot of visualization and internalization that goes on when playing the lead pipe. We want to understand how the body works, how the machine works, and then we can discover where issues are arising. So we put the instrument down. As you will see in the 5 basic videos, we go through the backswing, we get our air working, then we get our aperture corners working. If I can get you to sing, now there's another video coming on singing. If you can work on that's working on the aperture corner tension. Then you use the visualiser, and you just thread that over the airstream. Imagine that the airstream's a spool of thread, and you just simply place the visualiser over the airstream to find your airstream. Then when you've done that enough, actually close your eyes. We're talking about internalizing. Then place the mouthpiece in the same spot. Then you're ready to proceed with the lead pipe. Now, why a lead pipe? I can hear a lot of you asking. There's a lot of discussion on forums about whether playing the lead pipe is a valid exercise. There's also a lot of discussion as to whether the mouthpiece and buzzing the mouthpiece is a good exercise, to which I would say, when done correctly, is fine. But in general, it's not done correctly, and it's done with too much tension in the middle of the lips, the part of the lip that needs to vibrate. So if we think a middle concert A, B on B flat trumpet, the oscillator needs to vibrate A440, 440 times a second. If we go up an octave, 880 times a second. If we go up another octave, 1760 times a second. The lips are vibrating, disturbing the molecules of air that live within the pipe of the instrument. So mouthpiece buzzing can encourage a tightening of the lips. Now, when you think about the fact that you've got air pressure in the body and that air pressure is going to displace air molecules in a pipe, the last thing you want to do is tighten your lips up to get in the way of the air. Bobby Shue calls the lips the hindrance to the airflow. Have a think about that for a while. So I recently was challenged by a head of brass at a university overseas and in the United States, and he was saying to me that the lips must close every time, every vibration. Close completely, then open, close, open. And I don't believe that to be true, and then so I just want to know what's right. I don't profess to know all about this, but I want to know that if I'm saying something, that it makes sense and is scientifically factual as far as I can determine. So I ask the people that know about this what the story is. And it turns out after, 6 months of, how long is it since I've done a video now? About 6 months of researching and talking to people, professionals in the acoustics field, that long story short, the lips do not have to close every vibration. They vibrate, especially the top lip, I've noticed in watching a lot of stroboscopic videos. I'd like to say thank you to Dave Wilkin for sending me a lot of videos, and you can see on them the top lip vibrates a lot. The bottom lip doesn't actually vibrate anywhere near as much. It's got more to do with the pitch change, which when I talk about aou, the tension, especially around the bottom lip, changes, and that's what changes the pitch that we emit from the body, which therefore creates resonance on the instrument. There's more to come on that as well. Now, if we put the mouthpiece on the lips, if I place the lead pipe over the mouthpiece, so in lesson 4, several of you have picked up that the lips, you notice when I take the lead pipe off, that the mouthpiece is buzzing. That's not a problem at all. If I go up on a higher pitch, there is a buzz coming from the mouthpiece. The issue is how we go about getting that vibration. Now, it drives me crazy, I have to admit, that if I type in how to play trumpet, beginner trumpet lessons, or anything like that into any search engine, there are a lot of websites, and the first lesson that you see is to play trumpet, you buzz your lips together. Now, the people demonstrating that often can buzz higher than I can. But what I show you is if I put the mouthpiece on, that's nothing that I can use to play a tune on the trumpet. It may be a reasonable isometric muscle building exercise, but as far as playing trumpet goes, I believe it is very, very dangerous because it sets an idea deep in the head that the lips must be tight to vibrate, to create sound on the trumpet. But as I've, shown on all of these videos, if we can find tension at the sides of the aperture, ow, 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 put the mouthpiece on, it's the extra resistance from the length of pipe that is making my lips begin to vibrate. And that feeling of freedom is the sensation that we want to play the instrument and to develop. So if we start low, then we've got something to build on. Now there's basically 4 results when you begin to use the lead pipe, because I might get you to sing and move air. Oh, and quite often you might hear this. To which I say, congratulations, that's the first step. We've got 4 possible results. That sound, or a higher sound, like a pedal note, or which is basically just a higher note, or we may get, which is tight, hard to do, and not very beneficial. In my experience of doing this with over 100 students, I don't get that high pitch ever when you understand that free movement of air, visualiser, mouthpiece, then lead pipe. Now, even if you get that low, just air sound, there's just a tiny degree of tension change required to get a note on the lead pipe, and it's very, very easy to do. Now, as I said, the fact that you're not trying to play a note like this is the whole reason I want to put the instrument down. The feeling and sensation of strangeness, we can approach this in a different way because it's not a complete instrument. There's also the fact that when we're developing a new skill, you are not held slave to the harmonics of the trumpet. It will want you to play a low C or a low G. But when trying to develop the inner feelings that we want to develop, if you try and play those notes, you'll find that a bit of the kicking from the abdominal muscles or a bit of straining in the chest and the neck and the throat will allow you to get the note out, but it's not easy. And what we want is the most, the largest result of sound for the least amount of work. And so developing these skills using the lead pipe is just crucial. Now there is another video for exercises on the lead pipe coming, but I want you to consider the fact that when I've developed the flow of the air and discover the tension required for any note, you can change notes. Now you can focus, if you like, on jaw position, tongue position, air direction, corner tension, or you might just want to think about the sound. I've just about covered every book ever written about trumpet playing. But if you do that exercise, you don't need to change the flow when doing this. But when you change the tension of the aperture corners, you can hear the pitch change. Therefore, a good, free and open sound is the balance between the flow of air and the tension of the aperture corners. Now, if you can find the right balance of flow and tension, you'll be able to play any note that you like on the instrument. So that's the lead pipe. They're available now, finally, here at the site. I highly recommend that you get one and stay tuned for some more on the lead pipe.